Welcome to Culture Alchemy, where we do a deep dive into film, TV, music, and the stories and trends lighting up the group chat. We'll discuss what it means, why it matters, and how it shapes us. I'm Antoinette.
And I'm Andrew. Each week we've got pop culture's hottest takes served fresh. We're turning pop culture into pure gold. This is Culture Alchemy. Hey Antoinette, how's it going?
Hey, not too bad, Andrew. Not too bad. It's been an interesting weekend for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you first about you went to an amazing concert last night, and I saw it online too. A lot of people are talking about it. Nine Inch Nails. You're wearing that fire Nine Inch Nails T-shirt. I should invest in one of those too. Actually, I'm kicking myself that I missed it. How was it?
It was great. Honestly, bucket list concert for me because I actually hadn't seen them live before. And yeah, I think it was everything you'd want in a show. It was a really interesting stage setup. They played the hits. They also played some new songs as well too. They gave a good variety, right? So if you're a newer fan, there's some stuff there. If you were like an older fan, they definitely went into the deep cuts too. And yeah, I think it was just a really it's just an interesting light and sound experience. So I was sitting beside somebody who had their granddaughter there. And after the show was done, she just sat there and just started bawling. She was so moved by the music. And I just kind of turned to her and just like, oh, just to ask her how she was doing. And her grandma's like, oh, she's good. She's good. It's just that this is her favorite band. And she's just so happy. She's just so overcome with emotion. And so, yeah, it's amazing what music can do and the power of a band. But this is another one of those bands that I think has a rabid fan base. And I saw people who obviously been rocking with them for a while, and then now they're bringing their kids to the show. And it's a band that sort of transcends age. I also saw last night, to my pleasant surprise, transcended race as well. Yeah, it was an interesting show for sure. I'm glad I went.
Trent Reznor, he's a genius, right? And I'm sure Nine Inch Nails. I mean, I don't know how many times they'll do a tour, do these tours, but I mean, I love film and Trent Reznor. So many soundtracks that he has elevated, from The Crow, which has a bunch of great hits from Nine Inch Nails on that soundtrack, to today, Tron. He curated the soundtrack for, I believe, the Social Network, but also Tron, first one, and there's going to be a second one soon too. Yeah, so I understand they played it. They played a track from Tron as well last night.
They did, and yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that Trent Reznor is really him and Atticus Ross in particular.
Yeah.
They've really, I mean, they're Oscar-winning composers at this point now, so like they really, really, really put on an amazing show, and yes, they did. So it was good to see that, and I'm glad that I was able to check them out. I hope they have another tour in them.
Yeah.
I think they probably do though. I mean, they look like they were in great form. So I mean, next time they come back around, if I'm here, I will definitely go and absolutely, regardless of the venue, I think I would go see them play, and that's saying a lot because I definitely have venues that I will prefer over others, and I have a sort of system for whether or not I feel like I really need to go to a show. I know we're going to talk a bit about concerts and I think another show we've got queued up. Maybe we're gonna dive a little deeper into that, Andrew. But
Yeah.
yeah, what are your thoughts about concerts? Do you have a particular venue in the city that you really like? Um, who are you looking forward to seeing? If you could put together a dream list for the fall.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I love concerts, just like you, and um, it is a powerful experience, like you were saying, right? And I'm sure I've had some amazing experiences at concerts. I mean, if I have to name the best concert I've ever been to, it's gonna be Beyonce for the Formation tour. Uh, I was converted that night. I'm part of the Beehive now. Okay. Uh, a magical experience for sure. Um, for a variety of reasons that night. I mean, just to kind of quickly go into it, it was at the Sky Dome here in Toronto, and it was sold out. The dome was open. It was after Prince had passed away, and so Beyonce did a she sang Purple Rain a cappella with everyone singing at the Sky Dome, which is amazing. And her voice, her dancing, production is just like out of this world. It was amazing. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And then another concert that I went to more recently was there's this artist. Her name is Aniko, and I'm seeing her again in the fall. She's an emerging artist, and she kind of blew up on TikTok. Well, the artist blew up on TikTok, Aniko, and it was. I didn't know anything about it before I went, but I was recommended to go, and it was at a small venue. And those I prefer concerts at smaller venues, more intimate. It feels more intimate, which this one very much did. And Aniko gives me kind of like a Erica Badu type of vibes. She covered a lot of Michael Jackson at the concert, and just an amazing performance from the artist. Yeah, it was just incredible. I felt like we were transported to another universe that night. Yeah. Well, I'm seeing her. I mean, I'm seeing Aniko again in October, and then I would also like to see Doechii in October too. So I'm trying to get tickets for Doechii. She blew up, this year, and I've seen some video from her performances at Lollapalooza, and I can't, and at the Grammys too, right? So I can't wait to see her live. Hopefully, yeah. How about you?
Oh wow, yeah, you've named some really good ones. I think for me it's like there's always a show that I want to see, and I do like the intimate sets. I think it's nice to see someone in a small venue. I live near a really great venue if anyone's a local in Toronto, the Danforth Music Hall. I don't know who's booking for that place now, but they are, I mean, every week there's an amazing show there. Um, Another local for for CanCon here, Hayden, who is somewhat a singer songwriter, who I love him. And the last time I saw him was at Lee's Palace, and he's coming back to Lee's Palace again in October. So I'd love to go see him. That's one that's definitely on my
Okay.
radar for
Yeah.
sure. And great venue. I love that place. Very nostalgic. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, depending on how much Doechii is, I'd love to go see Doechii. I think for me right now, well, I have a concert of Oasis coming up tomorrow, so that one's going to be another big one. Looking forward to that, and um, yeah, I have to kind of have a look and see who's coming because I think there's been a lot of shows all summer, and I've been really lucky that I've been able to go to a few. But that probably is, yeah, probably the list that I'm thinking of right now would be some local artists, and I'm yeah, I'm curious to see who might be coming around early next year. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open, but that's where my latte factor is. It's experiences. I spend most of my money on either going to comedy or going to like shows to see music. Like yeah, it's something that I feel for me makes life worthwhile. So I'm willing to pay for it, but I do see that it's getting pricier and pricier to do it. So I feel very fortunate when I'm
It's
able to
getting
make these
pretty
shows
wild with
work.
ticket prices. Yeah, there's only so many shows, you can go to, but like these rising ticket prices are pretty crazy. I mean, even like other events like UFC and WWE, they've increased their ticket prices like insane amounts, it's pretty wild to me, like this kind of like type of pricing that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dynamic pricing is wild to me.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately I think as long as there's that demand, people will pay. I don't know if that train is ever gonna head back from whence it came. I think it's just, you know, um,
That's just
it's just what it
reality.
is,
But
you know.
Danforth Music Hall is one of my favorite venues in the city. I saw Aniko at Elizabeth Theater, which was a small
Oh
venue.
yeah.
That's
Hmm.
a great
It's a great
venue, and
one.
also history. Uh, I love
Yes.
urban history too. Yeah.
Yeah, history's a good one too, and I haven't been there in a minute. but I was talking with people as one does when you're milling about after a concert. Everyone is kind of like, everyone's just ramped and just trying to unpack the experience with other people. And yeah, we were talking about different venues that came up. So definitely there are a lot of places that people gravitate towards. Maybe it's nostalgia thing, maybe it's like you said, the intimacy of the space, how how it's the sound. Obviously, I do notice differences in sound quality in certain spaces, and certain artists kind of lend to a certain type of a vibe as well too.
Yeah,
Like
you're right because
I
I saw Leon Bridges on Massey Hall,
mm,
and the newly renovated,
Massey Hall.
the perfect
Yeah,
venue for him,
yeah,
and it was just like that low key, blues, soul
yeah,
music was it was just an amazing night. Yeah, watching him perform.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say Massey Hall actually, like the newly
Yeah.
renovated Massey Hall is breathtaking. It's stunning, and there's not really even a bad seat in the house. Like I love going there. So yeah, yeah, good call on that. But I mean, I guess we can revisit that another time as well, because I'm sure there's a lot more we can get into when it comes to the soundtrack of our lives and then the influence of music. So stay tuned for more on that. But we came here today to take care of some serious business because we are in the midst of, well, we're getting ready to see another Toronto International Film Festival start. September 4th is when it gets underway and it ends on the 14th. Every year, Andrew, this always sneaks up on me, TIFF. And so I'm really excited to hear some of the films that you might be tracking. Looking forward to sharing some of the films that I'm looking forward to seeing as well, too. And hopefully this will help people who maybe are just starting to get their head around what's happening and to figure out what they might want to keep on their radar to see at the festival this year. Yeah. So, what's your history with TIFF? What do you think when TIFF rolls around? What are your thoughts on this year?
Yeah, so I've actually I have a history with TIFF. I volunteered for TIFF for 10 years. So I definitely know all the ins and outs of TIFF, and I can definitely kind of give tips for that. For some of our listeners and viewers who are maybe haven't navigated TIFF uh, previously, but this is the TIFF's 50th anniversary, so this is a big year for TIFF. And yeah, so I've had different roles at TIFF during the festival, and as far as seeing the films, it's you definitely have to plan. You definitely have to do your research, look at the schedule, coordinate with your own schedule. You have to be in the waiting room in the ticket queue through Ticketmaster the day of, which is September 6th, I believe. It's open to the or September 1st is open to the public. Yeah, I have to double check that one. I think
Yeah,
that
and like
when it goes
the
on sale September 1st.
yeah, I know some tickets are already on sale if
Yeah.
you are part of the TIFF membership packages. There's different tiers and levels, but definitely, yeah, by September 1st, the tickets are going to be in uh, full effect for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not a member, so it's September 1st, and then definitely plan ahead though. Do your research, and we'll help you with this too with our top 10 or so list films, and including the big ones as well as ones that you maybe wouldn't normally see as well that are maybe under the radar. And we're excited to get into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have no idea what films the other person has picked. We're going into this totally blind. So I'm really excited because yes, I know you've had a deep history with TIFF, and so I'm interested to hear your tips as well, Andrew, and like why maybe you chose a movie over another movie. It could be also because you have this history with the festival. You might understand a little bit about maybe what's gone into the production of a film, or if a director is somebody who's a frequent flyer here when it comes to TIFF, as many are. This is usually like you said, a big event for the city and for film in general. I guess uh, a lot of these films are films that people are going to be watching come award season. So uh, I guess we'll dive in. I don't know if there's any way that we want to go about this, Andrew, other than maybe we just volley the ball back and forth, talking about a movie that we're choosing in our top 10. We talk a bit about it, and then we'll alternate. And this is in no, at least for my list, anyways, not really in any particular order here in terms of my ranking, just 10 movies that I said that I feel I would love to see. And like you said, Drew, we'll pepper in some notable mentions as well too uh, as we go along. And yeah, as time permits. So, okay, I'll uh, I'll look to you to kick us off, Drew. What's the first film you want to talk about?
Okay, the first film I picked, which I'm sure is getting a lot of attention this year, is Guy del Toro's Frankenstein. Uh, Guillermo del Toro, he directed Pan's Labyrinth, which is one of my favorite films as well. And he's bringing to life Frankenstein, starring Jacob Elordi and Mia Goth. It'll have its gala presentation at the festival. And yeah, Del Toro has filmed many projects in Toronto. He calls Toronto his second home. He filmed The Shape of Water here. He also filmed Nightmare Alley, and he also filmed Frankenstein here as well. So he has a long, outstanding creative relationship with the city. And Frankenstein, the reason why I chose this film is because Frankenstein is actually a lifelong passion project for Del Toro. Since childhood, he's always wanted to create this film, to adapt Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And it also stars Isaac as Dr. Victor Frankenstein. And Jacob Elordi plays Frankenstein, who is Jacob Elordi is. He's the farthest thing from Frankenstein. All right. You may have known him from Euphoria, um, or maybe Saltburn as well. Originally, Andrew Garfield was cast as Frankenstein, but he had to drop it scheduling conflicts. And Jacob Elordi underwent 10 hours of makeup sessions. And apparently, is why he was chosen for the role is his expressive eyes conveying both innocence as well as cruelty. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
I
those,
heard,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. I don't want to cut you
Oh
off.
no, those are like that's some of like the backstory with Frankenstein. Mia Goth plays Elizabeth Lavenza and also Frankenstein's mother in a dual role as well. And apparently, also supporting roles are Christopher Waltz is in it as well. And yeah, Del Toro has said that he didn't intend this as a straight horror movie, but rather an emotional story. It explores relationships like father and son, creator, and themes of forgiveness, identity, and fear. And what I love about Del Toro too is he prefers practical effects over CGI. He did a lot of handcrafted sets here in Toronto and used real prosthetics as well. He created like a large scale ship set here in Toronto, which is pretty crazy. And he also filmed in Edinburgh, and he apparently transformed the streets to show 19th century where this film was set. And yeah, it's being released October 17th, and it comes out on Netflix in November. But it's definitely going to be a big one at TIFF.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It was on my list as well too. Not surprisingly, a must see, and I know it's going to be rolling out on Netflix as well later this year. So if you don't catch it at the festival, then definitely, yeah, it'll be a one to be streamed. But I think this will be a beautiful thing to see on the screen, like you said. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is basically like an honorary Torontonian at this point.
Yeah.
He's always here. His movie, like you said, big one that's going to be on everybody's list, and for good reason. I did see an interview with Oscar Isaac where he was talking about Jacob Elordi in this role. Him and
Wow.
Mia Goth were talking, and they were both saying his performance as the monster is spellbinding, like spellbinding. So that's interesting, that tidbit that you added about him being cast for that specific kind of quality he has, expressiveness in his eyes. That's very interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing his transformation for that. And we all know that when someone goes under the monster transformation, that often does result in, hey, that's award time. People
Yeah,
tend to,
it could be Oscar buzz for Jacob,
could
and
be. Yeah.
I think he's one of my favorite like emerging actors, and he's also in line to potentially play James Bond. So we'll see. Yeah,
That's true. Yeah. And I mean, this would be what a monster year he'll
yeah.
have, like, or tail end of it, if that announcement comes out and he gets that gig. And then he's also in this movie. And obviously, he's in a slew of other projects, I'm sure, as well, coming out. So, yeah, great pick to kick us off, Drew. Frankenstein for sure. Uh, okay. Anything else you want to add to this before I toss out one of my picks?
So they're doing a red gala premiere for this film. But there'll be multiple screenings, so if you don't get the red gala premiere, which is where the actors are, and it's a big event, and there'd be multiple screenings as well. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Check out TIFF. .net for all the screening times. If we know them, we can always shout them out too. But like you said, Andrew, there's so many different screenings. I've got to get my schedule together now. I've got so many different things lined up in that first week alone. But yeah, great pick to start us off. Frankenstein absolutely is on my list as well. Now, the next one I'm going to say, I think, is also another one of those special gala presentations. It's going to sound basic, but there's a reason why people are excited. I'm excited. It's Wake Up Dead Man, The Knives Out third installment. That's my pick for what I want to see at the festival. So we're returning back to Detective Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, and he's joined this time. Yeah, that surprised you?
yeah, I did actually. I wasn't expecting that. It wasn't even on my list,
Okay.
but it's that's a good pick for sure. Yeah.
Hey, when you're right, you're right, and I know people will say that's kind of like a basic pick. But listen, it's getting a world premiere here at TIFF. Ryan Johnson is such a fun writer and director. Who doesn't love a stylish whodunit? I mean, star-studded. So we've got Josh O'Connor, who is so hot right now as well. Another Bond, although probably not going to get the role, but another Bond contender.
Uh-huh.
We've got Mila Kunis, who's definitely going to be here walking the red carpet as far as celeb sightings go. And of course, so many others that are joining this cast. Kerry Washington's going to be in this cast.
Oh
There's
wow.
Andrew Scott, Jeremy Renner. There's a whole slew of people. Glenn Close. This is supposed to be one where apparently the whole mystery is contained within one location, so they're kind of trapped, and
Oh,
a dead body kind of appears. So it's supposed to be darker, a little bit more macabre.
uh-huh.
And so I think this will be a really interesting one. And yeah, I just think Daniel Craig is delightful in this role. I really love um, dark humor, love dark humor. And yeah, I think this would be one that'll be uh, a fun one to go see. And if anything, I feel as if the buzz around this movie is definitely because of the marquee. You got almost everybody in this movie, and every time Ryan Johnson releases one of these, you know what to expect. So on one hand, you might say this might not be on everyone's list because it is one that you kind of know what's going to happen a bit, but it's how he gets us there, the journey, and how he takes Agatha Christie's kind of almost formulaic way of going about mysteries, and he makes it interesting. I'm really looking forward to this one. And again, that humor that Ryan Johnson has, and then the cast that he's got in there, I think they're gonna absolutely eat in this one. And I'm excited to see, yeah, how this mystery is gonna get solved. So it's gonna be another one that I'm looking forward to seeing. If I can't see it at TIFF because it's going to be a very popular screening, then again, Netflix. I mean, they're flexing big time this year, so they've got this one coming out as well at the end of the year too.
Oh, that's a great pick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So far, I don't think too many surprises. I mean, we've got Frankenstein, Wake Up Dead Man, The Knives Out. So that means over to you, Drew, for your next pick.
So my next pick is a film which is creating buzz for the concept of it. It's called Motor City. It's directed by Patsy Ponciroli. I'm not sure if I'm
Mm.
saying that correctly, but the premise seems really intriguing to me. It's set in 1970s Detroit. It centers on John Miller, who's a local auto worker whose life is upended when he's framed by a local gangster, played
Mm.
by Ben Foster, who is a great actor. I loved him in Hell or High Water. And in the film, upon his release, Miller, played by Alan Richardson, unleashes a violent vengeance to reclaim his life and the woman he loves, played by Shailene Woodley, who's also a great actor as well. And apparently, the script originated on this very prestigious list in 2009 called the Blacklist. And the Blacklist is an annual list. It's an annual compilation of the most liked unproduced screenplays in Hollywood. And the survey included also the Social Network as well. So it's been in development since 2009 as the #2 ranked script that year. So that's very interesting. And the film reportedly features almost no dialogue as well, just 5 lines in total. So it's tell its story almost entirely through visual storytelling and action. So I think that's very interesting, and I'm excited about this film.
Wow, great pick. I didn't have that one on my radar, so thanks for sharing that one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great one. I mean, I think unless you have anything else to add, I'll toss another one out. But yeah.
No, that's definitely high on my list for sure.
Okay, I like it. I like it. And I'm gonna pick another one that I'm sure will come as no surprise to anyone really who knows that I was a big fan of this director's work last year with Conclave. I'm gonna pick Ballad of a Small Player. So,
Oh wow.
yep.
Okay. Yeah, I know
I
you
got
love
to.
Conclave.
I got to. I know. I got to. So this is Edward Berger, so the Academy Award winning screenwriter of Conclave. He is now back, and he's back with
Wow.
Colin Farrell in Ballad of a Small Player. So this movie here, I think, an interesting premise as well. So I'm gonna actually read from my notes here because I think there's a lot of buzz around this. This is gonna have a gala presentation, so at least fingers crossed at minimum, we're going to see probably Edward Berger and probably Colin Farrell, although I'm not sure if he'll be here, but good chance he will. And yeah, this is a movie that looks like classic Berger in that this director is really viscerally kind of delicious as a filmmaker. He's just really and he's working with a cinematographer that he often works with. And he's got a really interesting way of telling us doing a character study in a way that's, I think, visually really just kind of magnificent. But basically, Colin Farrell is in Macau, and he's playing a gambler whose debts start to catch up with him. And he's laying low in Macau, and then he encounters rather, a kindred spirit who may be able to help him and may be the key to his salvation. That's what we know about the movie. But the trailer is amazing. I really felt once I watched the trailer that I have to see this, but I would have been in there regardless because of Colin Farrell, who I think is a spectacular actor, and Edward Berger, I think, is a spectacular director. We put those two together. The premise is very interesting. I think this one is going to be a phenomenal movie, and a lot of the time, when you see a trailer, there's certain things that you're looking for. I know we may get into that um, throughout this conversation, or we may actually revisit that another time and talk about the masterful strategy behind a good trailer. But this is one that I think when I watch it, it's very, very good. It gives me a sense of the tone of the movie. What I'm going to probably experience is going to be a little bit dark. But also, I think it gives a sense of, I don't know, maybe uh, a movie that I think it's going to be a lot of fun as well too. Very fast pace, and again, Colin Farrell's joined with Tilda Swinton, so you've got a great cast in that as well as an amazing location. I think that's something Berger did with Conclave too, where he took a place that, on one hand, is actually quite familiar to most of us. We think, oh, the Vatican, we know what goes on there, but do we really know what goes on there? And then showed us kind of behind the scenes and was very true to the production and set design for that world. I think he's going to do the same thing in Macau. From what I saw, the way that he's directed this film, I think it's going to be a really interesting look, not at just the gambler himself, but the world that he inhabits and the characters that are there with him. So super excited about this one. Ballad of a Small Player is premiering on September 9th. This one's going to have a big screening, a lot of Oscar buzz around this one already. I think people are thinking this is going to be in contention for sure. So yeah, Ballad of a Small Player.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, that wasn't on my list also, but yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah, should be a good one. All right. Well, what was on your list, Drew?
Another film on my list it's called The Retreat. It's generating significant buzz as one of the most anticipated films here at TIFF. It's a British thriller. It's directed by Ted Evans, and it's being hailed as the world's first death thriller, making it a
Oh,
groundbreaking moment in cinema. So it follows Mia, a young deaf woman from Berlin who attends an isolated retreat in the English countryside designed for deaf individuals seeking connection and support. However, as the retreat progresses, Mia begins to question the camp's methods, and it turns into a suspenseful, immersive psychological drama. And the film is notable for being made entirely in British Sign Language, offering a rare and authentic
wow.
portrayal of the deaf experience. So it sounds like an amazing concept, and not a lot it's known about it so far, but it's receiving its world premiere at TIFF, and I definitely will try and get a ticket for that one for sure.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I mean, I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch Coda?
Yes, no, I love that film too. Yeah, so that's
Mm.
kind of reminds me of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm feeling Coda in that. I'm feeling Sound of Metal
Mhm.
together if they had a baby.
Yeah,
Like that,
exactly. Yeah.
very interesting. Wow. I'll definitely keep that on my radar too then. Sounds really, really interesting concept. Cool. Okay, so you've gotten if for anyone who's joined us later is trying to keep track of all these movies, I hope you have a pen and paper nearby. But Drew, you've already dropped Frankenstein. So you've got three, The Retreat, and you dropped the other. Sorry, remind us the second pick that you did was
Motor City. Yeah.
Thank You and Motor City. All right, and I did not surprisingly Wake Up Dead Man for the fans of the Knives Out franchise, and then Ballad of a Small Player. So my third pick is one I'm really excited about. It's getting a lot of buzz. It actually won the Grand Prix at Cannes earlier this summer, and it is now also, believe it or not, connected to Guillermo del Toro in an interesting way. So I know you were talking earlier about this, Drew, about your love of Pan's Labyrinth. So maybe you already knew this, but Pan's Labyrinth has, to this date anyway, the longest standing ovation at Cannes. So 22 minutes,
I didn't.
longest in history.
That is amazing. Wow.
That is amazing. Longest in history. And now the second longest standing O at Cannes belongs to the film I'm about to recommend for one of my top picks at the festival. Major award buzz around all the performances here. It's Sentimental Value. So this is a movie that was directed by Joachim Trier, who people might remember. He did The Worst Person in the World. So this is a Norwegian. He's back. This film got a 19-minute standing O at Cannes in May. And yeah, so second now, only after Pan's Labyrinth. It's a Norwegian family drama. We've got Stellan Skarsgård in there. We've also got Renee Rennesve, who was the lead in The Worst Person in the World. We've got Elle Fanning as well, playing alongside these two. And basically, the movie itself, it looks like it's a movie about a, a family coming to grips with their history and a daughter who I suppose trying to overcome her daddy issues, but a much more complex plot than that. Basically, the father is now trying to write a tell-all book about the family. And he's been estranged from the family for many years, now returns to the life that the daughters have now put together for themselves from the shambles of what was left. And he's causing chaos as he comes back in to their lives. But apparently, many people are saying if the standing O wasn't enough, that this is a movie where the performances are just stellar. Got a great cast here, a director who knows exactly what he's doing and knows how to tell a wonderful story. This is one that I'll definitely try to prioritize. I think this one is also going to probably be at a future film festival as well. Um, yeah, this one is one definitely to watch. So it won the Grand Prix this year, and I think honestly, I didn't actually get a chance to see Worst Person in the World. I'll have to rectify that soon because I heard it's amazing. But yeah, if you were a fan of that movie, this is another one that I think is going to have that same sort of tone in terms of the storytelling. And again, Stellan Skarsgård, my gosh, great actor. Renette also great actress. So looking forward to this sentimental value. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's a great pick, and I did not know that it has the second longest standing ovation as well
Yeah.
at Con.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I thought was incredible. Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue for my next film, and I think this film is also on your list as well. It's Nouvelle Vague. Um, yes,
Linklater.
yes,
Okay.
Linklater, who directed two of your favorite films of all time, Before Sunset and After Sunset, right?
You're
Is that
right. Before sunrise. Yeah.
Before Sunrise and After Sunset? Yeah, and also one of my favorite films, Dazed and Confused. At Cannes, he this film received an 11-minute standing ovation, with no less than Quentin Tarantino reportedly watching it twice in a single day. That's how much he loved this film. The Canadian premiere is at TIFF 50. Um, it will be in the special presentation section, directed by Richard Linklater. This is his 33rd feature, and it's the concept of it is based on the making of the classic film Breathless, directed by Jean-Luc Godard. I haven't seen that film, but I definitely will watch that film. Um, Before I go see this film, and but just because it's Richard Linklater, and it's received that ovation as well, this is definitely high on my list to see at TIFF.
Great choice. Yeah. Great choice. I know Linklater has two films at TIFF this year. The other one being Blue Moon. So he's reunited with Ethan Hawke on that one. And
Oh wow.
uh, those are two that were, so I didn't put Nouvelle Vague in my top 10, but I definitely had it in my notable. So I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah.
It would have just squeaked by. I flirted with it in the top 10, but certainly one that I'll definitely check out as well. Like, I can't argue with that. I think that's going to be a great film. And what an interesting thing to hear that Quentin Tarantino is so behind that movie that he would see it twice. I mean, he does not seem like a man that would suffer fools or even suffer 5, 10 minutes of a movie he doesn't like. So to see it twice, that's high, high praise. Yeah.
If Quentin loves that film, I'm in. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got time for it. Wow. Great. Okay. So great pick. I'm glad you said that one for sure. Yeah. I was circling it. And I'm going to pick one. Oh man, there's so many good ones. But for my next one, because I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this one. And again, everyone's going to be talking about this one, but let's just get it out of the way. Good Fortune. So Aziz Ansari is back. He's directing what looks like a dark comedy where Keanu Reeves is playing an inept Angel Gabriel and does a switcheroo with Aziz Ansari's character, who is a gig worker, with Seth Rogen's character, who is a venture capitalist. And hilarity ensues. So I think this one's going to be, no doubt, it's another one of those special galas. We're going to see people walking the carpet. Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves are definitely confirmed to be on that red carpet. So those are two of the celebs that I would say, if someone asked me, who do I want to see? Keanu is in my top three. I've got three that I'd love to see. He's one of them. And I think this movie is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be existential in nature. I love Aziz Ansari's writing style. I was a huge fan of Master of None. That show made me mad that I didn't write that show. It is so good. He's a master when it comes to that. Just that particular way of telling stories that are both decidedly unique to the character and universal at the same time. It's a really beautiful gift he has because considering he's coming from comedy, I think he's able to find the kernel of truth in the most, I think, um, in sadness, and then also find uh the hilarity in it too, and that's again a special gift. So yeah, good fortune. It's going to be a big premiere. Lots of people are going to be going to see this one, so you're going to hear lots about this one for sure. But yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. I think it's going to be a great cast. You got Sandra Owen there, Kiki Palmer, who's everywhere now too.
Oh
She's in
yeah.
there playing his love interest. Yeah. um, great cast. So, yeah, if you're a fan of existential comedy, this is definitely going to be one for you. Yeah, Drew, were you going to say anything about Kiki Palmer's takeover of the world, or?
Oh no, that this well, yes, she's everywhere. I mean, um, yeah, if she's in it, then I want to see it. I wanted to see this already. It was definitely on my list, and yeah, Keanu Reeves, he's going to be on the red carpet as well. Seth Rogen, it's Aziz Ansari's directorial debut, and I love Master of None as well too. One of my all-time favorite shows. So this is definitely a film to see. It doesn't just rely on star power. It's like that blend of like sharp comedy, fantasy, and like a subtle commentary on like social inequality as well,
Hmm.
which I like too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that last piece as well because it isn't just about the marquee. I think this one will pull people in, but I definitely think that you're right. There's a satire, strong satire here around social inequity, and I think that's going to be something that's going to hit a little different now, considering the reality of when it's being released. I think a lot of people will resonate with this film for sure. So yeah, good fortune. Okay, so over to you. What's your next pick?
Okay, there's basically two films which are on my list, which are kind of similar in a way. It seems like the theme of TIFF this year, and the films in the fall is a transformation. You see, Jacob Elordi is doing a transformation into Frankenstein, and also Sydney Sweeney, and I think which will be her big breakout role, will play trailblazing female boxer Christy Martin in the film Christy. If you're not familiar who Christy Martin is, she's one of the most famous female boxers um, ever. She blew up in the '90s. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as well, and it's directed by David Michaud, and Christie explores Martin's groundbreaking rise in women's boxing, including her historic undercard fight under Mike Tyson and becoming the first woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated as well. And it also looks at her personal struggles, most notably in an attempted murder by her husband and trainer as well as her identity as a gay woman in the male dominated sport of boxing. So it looks like Sydney Sweeney completely transformed for this role, and I'm really excited about this film.
No doubt. Yeah, I it's funny because I figured Christie might make its way onto your list.
Yeah.
I did see it. I obviously lots of buzz around, like you said, the transformation for Sydney right now, especially this is a very different role for her, quite a departure from the bombshells she would usually play, or just the description you gave of Christie alone was like, wow, if what I'm hearing is correct, and she really takes on this role and transforms within it, then I think you're right to say this is going to be a major turning point for her in her career. And I think she needs a role like this. To be honest, I think she needs something like this. She needs to really, right now, I think maybe change some of the narrative around. Um, I don't know what she's capable of doing. I know we all know she's a great actress, but I'll be very curious to see how she takes on this type of a role that will stretch her a little bit in terms of right on its face, like the type of person she's playing, she will have to dig deeper, right? So I think this will be an interesting one. Not on my list, but definitely flirted with it. Very aware of it. And I'm glad that you mentioned it, Drew, because I think this one was going to be on a lot of critics' lists especially if Sydney does, I don't know, knock this one out of the ring. And I think she's going to be in a different type of conversation following it.
And a similar role, where an actor is transforming, playing a real athlete, is The Smashing Machine, which will have its world premiere at TIFF. And The Rock will be playing Mark Kerr as the legendary mixed martial artist. It's directed by Benny Safdie, who's an amazing director. I'm sure you know his films Good Time, as well as I loved Uncut Gems. Yeah. So Mark Kerr was a legendary mixed martial artist, MMA fighter who rose to prominence in the early days of the UFC. It delves into his meteoric rise, his personal struggles, his complexities of fame and addiction, and also stars Emily Blunt as well. And it looks like completely transforms. It would be wild if, I mean, The Rock getting an Oscar nomination, but uh, directed by Benny Safdie. I loved all his films, the Safdie brothers, and yeah, I'm excited for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, way to sneak that next pick in there, the Smashing Machine. It would be definitely one that we'd have to mention. And like you said, The Rock's gonna be another one who's gonna be here both for the premiere to walk the red carpet for that one, and then he's also doing an in conversation as well for the festival. And I agree with you. I think this is one of those things where like this could be his movie that
Uh-huh.
honestly I could see him getting an Oscar nomination for something like this. And if he is supported by, as you said, like the Safdie, that whole like both brothers are extremely talented. I think if he's working with him, he's got Emily Blunt as well there. I think that we'll see a different side of The Rock, and not to take away from him. Um, I think he's talented, but I think we haven't really seen what he can really do yet with a drama like this. I'll be really curious. Yeah, I think this is going to be another one that's going to be a huge, huge event. People will be waiting to get into this one for sure. So I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah. So we got some boxing movie with Christy, and then we've got UFC coverage with the Smashing Machine. Okay, so now for something a little bit different. I'm gonna do a hard pivot from a sporting movies, and I'm gonna go to one that I think is uh yeah, I think it's a highly anticipated one. So Hamnet. So this is Chloe Zhao, the director, the Academy Award-winning director of Nomadland. She has now taken Hamlet and reimagined it through the eyes of Shakespeare's wife. So with this movie, with Hamnet, we're going to be seeing Paul Mescal, who I mean, he's also so very hot right now. Mescal is going to be playing William Shakespeare, and then yes, we're going to have a whole different perspective on Shakespeare's family life as told through the eyes of his wife after the loss of their son, Hamnet. So this story is what inspired Hamlet. I'm a huge Shakespeare fan. Hamlet is actually my favorite play. And so I can't wait to see what she's going to do with this. But I think also Chloe Zhao is a really interesting director. I don't know. Have you seen Nomadland, Drew?
No, I have not seen it. No.
Okay. So I think Chloe Zhao is someone, if my understanding is similar to this, because I haven't really seen a lot of trailers for this. In fact, I think a lot of stuff has been really tightly kept under guard. And my understanding as well is that Chloe did not enter this into Cannes or any other film festival leading up to it. So I think maybe it's production thing, I don't know, but yeah, there's not a lot of information on this movie, but the cast looks incredible. And I also know that Chloe is someone that this movie is either going to be one that I think will be very enjoyable for people who are fans of Shakespeare, and maybe want to see a reimagining of Hamlet, of something we all know, or it could be very divisive. um Nomadland was one that it came out the year after the pandemic and the strike, and there was a kind of somber tone to that Academy Awards ceremony. But Nomadland was also about a woman, Frances McDermott, who won the Oscar for that performance in that movie. She basically, during the Great Recession, or after the Great Recession, losing her job and her husband losing his income, she takes off and decides to go live in a camper van and travel across America, meeting people along the way, and becomes a nomad. And so that movie is, I'm not sure if it's like a movie so much as it is like um vignettes to music. It's kind of very atmospheric storytelling. It's got a very introspective, dreamy quality to it, and I think that's what she's doing here too. From what I've understood about the movie, from what I've read, she's really looking to reimagine it through this kind of feminist lens, and also that's how she tells stories. It's very uh, much what I'm picturing is probably just going to see like a series of like vignettes in the life, and she's a quiet storyteller, but very visceral storyteller. Um, yeah, very dreamy, introspective kind of storyteller. So I have no idea what she's going to do with this, but I'm here to find out. And I think just telling this story through his wife's eyes is a super interesting way to look at a story that everybody knows in a very fresh way, kind of like Del Toro with Frankenstein, how he's kind of re-envisioning a story that, tale as old as time. So yeah, Hamnet, another one that I'm looking forward to seeing for sure.
Well, that's a great pick. That wasn't on my list. It was definitely under the radar for sure. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in it now. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, what else might you be interested in?
My next film is A Private Life. It's a French language black comedy mystery. Carrying it like almost like a Hitchcockian mystery with surreal and satirical turns, kind of giving like Woody Allen or Only Murders in the Building type of vibes. Um, it stars uh, Jodie Foster as Lillian Steiner. She plays an American psychoanalyst in Paris who suspects that a patient's apparent suicide may actually be a murder. So it's a murder mystery by the sounds of it, and it's also, from what I understand, it's in French. Um, Jodie Foster, in her first lead role, performed entirely in French, described the process as transformative. Acting in a second language made her a totally different person, she stated during the Cannes Film Festival. It also received a 10-minute standing ovation after its premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. So excited about this. It seems like a murder mystery, and yeah, I'm always into a good murder mystery. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, great pick. I had this one on my honorable mentions as well. I really flirted with it. It was in my top 10. I kept moving it back and forth because again, Jodie Foster can't miss with her. And yeah, I didn't know it was going to be entirely in French, but obviously that'll be interesting to see. Jodie Foster's fluent in French, so it'll be nice to see her using her French chops there. And I just find there's a lot of films actually when I was going through this year, the crop, that involve therapists. So I don't know. It was just that they're good fodder for wacky shit. I don't know, but I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of films that dive deep into those relationships that they have. So this is one that I definitely want to see as well too. I think it's going to be another major award contender, and I'm glad you mentioned it. So A Private Life, it's going to be on a lot of people's lists for sure. Yeah. Um, okay, my next one is another one that I flirted with, is in the top 10, not in the top 10. I bounced around. In fact, I think even Private Life might have even bounced around in its place. There's so many honorable ones that I'm looking at now that I'm thinking as if I didn't have that in top 10. But I had to put this one in my top 10 because when I actually watched the trailer, my heart is full. And I just think the concept is so cool that I will definitely end up seeing this movie, even if it's just streaming. So my next pick is the A24, and we know A24 as well always brings the heat. Um, A24 can't miss either. They're on fire of late. It's Eternity. So this is David Frene
Yes.
directing. Yeah, I see nodding, Drew. So yeah, this is one that I think is going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to ask a really interesting question. And this is set in the afterlife. This is a drama that features Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller as souls in transit in a troubled love triangle. So imagine the premise: you and your partner, you are in an accident, you die, you get to the pearly gates, and then in the holding period before you go off to your eternity, you get faced with the terrible dilemma of who do you want to spend your eternity with? You can choose one person. And of course, Elizabeth Olsen, you'd think it's a layup. You're going to choose your husband. But twist, her first love, who died in an accident, is also there and has been waiting for her the entire time. So now she has to make a choice. Do you choose your husband, right? Or do you choose the long lost love that got away? Beautiful concept. I think every soul has 1 week to decide who they want to spend eternity with, and it's just I I think something that I feel is just rich with a lot of potential, not only for a beautiful love story, but a lot of questions that I'm sure will arise throughout the story. Is like, what is the right choice? This is an impossible choice, and I think when I see the trailer as well, the trailer looks like a lot of fun, and I think this might be one of the few straightforward kind of like love stories that I have in my top 10. I couldn't resist it. I had to put it in there. So yeah, Eternity A24 is in my list of must-sees for this year's TIFF.
It's a really interesting premise. You had me at Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Teller. I'm a big fan of Miles Teller, and they're both going to be there for the premiere. But yeah, that was on my list too.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, I think. Okay, so what else did you have on your list?
So my next film is Carolina Caroline. It's a romantic crime thriller. It's directed by
Oh.
Carter Remeyer, who did a film called Dinner in America. And the film stars Samara Weaving, who I was a big fan of in a film called Ready or Not, which is, I think, one of the best, most recent horror movie. Well, one of the better horror movies that has come out in the last few years. And it basically sounds like a romantic kind of road movie, almost like Bonnie and Clyde, type of vibes.
Mm.
Samantha runs away with a charismatic con man, embarking on a romantic crime spree across the American South. And as their confidence games escalate into elaborate heists, Caroline transforms into a notorious bank robber. So I love bank robbery movies as well, and it's a road movie and it's a romance, and I think it has all the ingredients for a great film at TIFF.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned this one. I didn't actually have it on my radar at all. But I think this sounds really interesting. The premise alone is another one of those really fascinating ones. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Okay. Now this next one, if I didn't mention it again, I think this would be one that I would regret not saying. If I had legs, I'd kick you. Let's just get right into it. So this is another one, Canadian premiere. Rose Byrne stars as the lead of this film. She will definitely be walking the red carpet, and she gives what is being heralded as a brilliant performance as a woman facing escalating anxieties and pressures, looking after her sick daughter while dealing with a home that's literally caving in. So it's Rose Byrne as a mother at her wits' end, Conan O'Brien as her difficult therapist, again, another therapist causing problems
Wow.
for her patient, and ASAP Rocky in his second movie premiering at TIFF this year. He's in a few things this year.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, and I mean, ASAP Rocky is a very weird neighbor. Great casting, strange casting. But this is another one that is getting so much buzz. I think Rose Byrne is a really great actress. I'm really glad to see her get something like this because I think she's another one that she's often put in the role of the pretty sort of like conquest. But when she gets something she can sink her teeth into, man, she can really act. And I think this is going to be a great vehicle for her. As an aside, although it's not always all about awards and whatnot, but these movies, then they do premiere at other festivals like Cannes. I like to mention it because I do think that often gives us a good sense of what are people saying at early on.
what is something that we might want to watch out for, what's getting a lot of buzz. And Rose Byrne actually, for this one, she actually won. She's already won an acting award for this. So she was in Berlin and she won Best Actress or Best Actor, excuse me, full stop, at the Berlin Film Festival for this performance. So I think this is going to be one not to miss. Christian Slater is also in this movie too. So
Wow,
you've
that's
got
a wild cast. Yeah.
wild cast, wild thoughts. But I think it's going to be incredible. And again, with A24, they don't miss. So I think this is going to be a strange one. I don't even know what more to say about it. But I think, yeah, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is one that a lot of people are talking about. It's also got a great trailer. I was watching it earlier, and I really think it gives you a set. It doesn't give away too much, which is the key to a good trailer. Gives you just enough to understand the tone of this movie. That is going to be a strange movie. It gives you a sense of the stakes, but never resolves them. So I think this one's going to be a really great one. I can't wait to see it when it does come out. And if I can't get a chance to see it in the theater, I'll definitely be looking out for it on the streamer for sure. Yeah, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Also, one of my picks for one of the best titles this year at the festival too. Mm. Yeah, yeah. I think we're starting to wind down for you. I'm trying to keep count here, but I'm just going to be frank, Andrew, audience, that I am counting, but also not counting because I'm just having such a great time listening to your picks. And there's so many movies. But Andrew, you do have technically still two more, if my count is correct, to squeeze in there. And then if we have time, some notables too. So what's your next pick? Yeah, for sure. Got to do it. Yep. Most def, yeah. So Etta was definitely one of the ones that was on it was in my top 10 as well. So I'm glad you mentioned it. All the same reasons. This is one actually that I was not necessarily going to put in my top 10. I flirted with moving it down, but I saw the trailer as well, like you said. The trailer actually made me want to see it
Uh-huh.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, trailer looks great. And I also, I do know this play. So this is a Norwegian play. And the
Okay.
play, I don't know how closely it'll follow the play, but if so, then I mean, this is going to be very interesting because the play itself, the journey that character goes through, this is kind of like the anti-hero, this person that Tessa's playing. So if they do what I think they do with it, it's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, great pick, Andrew, for sure. Great pick. Um, okay, so my next pick is another one that I don't think is too surprising, but for anyone who's seen the film Old Boy, you'll be familiar with the next one that I'm going to choose. I've got to choose No Other Choice. So this is a movie as well that's going to be massive buzz around it. If anybody is not familiar with Park Chan Wook, as I said, formerly the director of Old Boy, he's just a really he's a really interesting individual, some twisted, I would say, but I think he makes a very, yeah, he's intriguing. So he's back anyways with No Other Choice. This is one as well too, that's gonna have a red carpet. He'll likely be there. And in this movie, how do I describe No Other Choice? I mean, essentially, another movie that I think is going to be very popular with people right now because we can all relate to or have been through a job search when there's a stiff competition, real or perceived. What are people willing to do? And in particular, what is the protagonist, this one man, willing to do when he's at his wits' end, when he's been unemployed for several years, and he feels that he needs to do something to eliminate his competition? Well, this is the question and the answer that is offered by Park Chan-wook in No Other Choice. So it's a chilling satire on workplace politics and ruthless status seeking and ambition. And when one man decides that, given the right set of circumstances and looking to provide for his family, that he's willing to go to do anything, even be driven to murder his competition. So I think this one is going to be such a great film. Obviously, a little darker, a little bit of a psychological sort of drama. But I think a lot of the films I've seen in the past from a lot of the South Korean directors, we've seen some really amazing storytelling coming out of South Korea. I think this director as well, because of his, his success with previous films, this is going to be one that people are definitely going to want to see. And I think it's going to be a really interesting one, especially considering a lot of people are talking about the workplace, talking about the state of work and finding work and the unemployment situation for many people right now. So I think it's going to be a really good one. And yeah, I had to add that to my list. So No Other Choice. Park Chan-wook. Looking forward to seeing that.
Okay, that's a great pick as well. I loved Old Boy too.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Lisa Mark for sure. One of a movie that I love. Don't really want to see it again. What? Loved it. One of those. So like that's the Requiem for Dream status level, like chills. So yeah, this should be a really good choice too. Yeah. Okay. So I'm at the point now where, based on both my picks and the ones that you've mentioned, where we, crossed paths, I've got all my 10 listed. I've got my notables for the rapid fire, but I'm going to go back to you, Andrew, for your, what would be, I guess, your final pick in your top 10, and then we can just do some rapid fires.
Yeah, my final pick in the top 10. The main reason is because this director, I love this director. The film's called Roof Man. It's directed by Derek Cianfrance. He did Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines, which I loved. I saw it at TIFF in a previous year. It's a true crime dramedy, starring Channing Tatum as well as Kirsten Dunst. And it's Channing Tatum plays a former U.S. Army Ranger and struggling father who turns to robbing McDonald's restaurants, not through the front doors, but by drilling through their roofs, earning him the nickname the Roofman. After escaping prison, he takes refuge in a Toys R Us where he lives undetected for 6 months while planning his next move, and he meets Lee, played by Kirsten Dunst, of a divorced mother whose emotional connection with him sparks a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. And it features a stellar ensemble, including Peter Dinklage, Ben Mendelsohn, Lakeith Stanfield, Juno Temple, and Uzo Aduba as well. So great cast, great director, and yeah, that's in my top 10 for sure.
Great pick. Yeah, that was definitely on my my honorable mention. I would have thrown that out there myself if you hadn't said it. Yeah, Roofman for sure. And I think yeah, they are expecting maybe someone from the cast there, if not Channing Tatum. Yeah, so that'll be another big red carpet. Glad you mentioned that one. And obviously we've mentioned some movies that I think are going to be on a lot of people's radars. This one may not be. This is some CanCon for you. I'm gonna toss out for my next one, for my notable, and one that the minute I heard the premise and then I heard about the writer behind it, I was like, okay, I got to see this one. So This one is called Dinner with Friends.
Wow.
It's Toronto-based writer Sasha Lee Henry. Sasha Lee Henry, actually, I have seen one of her plays in the past. So she's done Love Bent, Love and Back, Bitches Love Brunch. She is someone who's done a lot of short films that are, I don't want to say Issa Rae because I feel like comparing her, she's a Black writer. Comparing to Issa Rae might be like too obvious a link to another great Black female writer, but the tone and voice is similar to that. So I trust her with this one. And with Dinner with Friends, she is basically looking at a topic that I've been fascinated by for for a time. She's basically asking the question, like, with so many distractions as we're getting older, kids, careers, adult friendships are really hard to maintain, and so it is kind of a character study about a group of friends that she films over the course of several months, several years at dinner parties. So they get together at parties, they reconnect over conversation. So if someone is a fan of movies like, it's being compared to movies like Past Lives with Celine Song. So again, that dialogue driven, or I think of like The Big Chill, My Dinner with Andre, these movies that are very like dialogue driven movies. It just follows a group of 8 longtime friends as they meet up at dinner parties. And sometimes after months have passed, so they often end up with these surprise announcements and also sometimes hurt feelings as they rehash things and talk about the ties that bond them. To me, the concept alone is something that I think is fascinating. I know I'm going to already like this movie. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see like the long held tensions, the inside jokes. These are people that have grown up together, spent their 20s and now into their 40s. So super relatable for me. And I think it takes a look at millennials and all the things that hold our friendships together and bind us when it comes to our chosen family. So I think this could be a wonderful movie. A great chance to go see also too, like a local, Toronto writer and director. Dinner with Friends. That's gonna be premiering on the 5th. So check that one out. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And might be one that might be a little bit more accessible to see as well too, because it may not be on everyone's radar. But what do you got, Andrew? So now we're just going to do some rapid fire as we start to
Yeah.
wind down here, because there's just too many films. Let's just admit
Yeah.
it. Like we can't go through everything. I think we're gonna miss something, and we can't be exhaustive in our list. But what's another film that you feel like you have to toss out there?
Yeah, a couple films, just rapid fire normal. It's a crime thriller directed by Ben Wheatley. He directed another film which debuted at TIFF called Free Fire, which I really enjoyed. It stars Bob Odenkirk from Nobody, and the story follows Ulysses. He just arrives in a town. He's filling in as a temporary sheriff, and shortly after taking the job, there's a bank robbery that shakes the town. But the real shock comes when he discovers there's a criminal underworld that permeates every corner of the community. And it also stars Henry Winkler as the town's mayor. It seems like just like a really like it's directed by the writer of John Wick as well, and it seems like a really great like crime action type of film, and it's to be part of the Midnight Madness series as well, which is one of my favorite programs at TIFF, where they show a wild action movie at midnight. And if you haven't experienced Midnight Madness at TIFF, you definitely should, because it's a vibe for sure. There's sometimes like beach balls thrown around during the screenings, and people are definitely cheering at the screen. And if this film Normal is going to be part of the Midnight Madness, that's it's going to be a wild ride for sure. This film, yeah.
Oh wow, what a great pick. Okay, cool. I'm glad that you put that on our radar.
Yeah.
I'll definitely want to circle back and ask you some questions around the best way to manage your schedule around TIFF and your
Yeah.
energy around TIFF and all of that. Like, because there's a lot happening. So I imagine You do have to do some planning to see all these films, but
And
um,
then also really great documentaries at TIFF too. We didn't talk about the documentaries, the Lilith Fair
yes,
documentary. So that I'm interested in that, as well
yep.
as there's a documentary called A Life Eliminated, which is about creatures in the ocean which create light. And it should be breathtaking on the screen for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so I wasn't aware of the last one that you just mentioned, but I'm glad that you did talk about documentaries. I did pick a shortcut that I wanted to mention because I think it sounds so interesting. And again, asking another question that I've often asked myself or, thought about. It's called Sea Star. So this one is by Taylor Mackenzie Evans, and basically a 12-minute short where personal tragedy prompts an elderly Black man to take his first swimming lessons. And this is Tyler Mackenzie Evans' observation of the strength required to move through grief in the face of fear and generational trauma. And it also looks at the, in addition to that very big sort of concept, at the core as well, ask some questions around the relationship that people of certainly of African descent have with water, the relationship that we have with water. And he goes into this one man's story to investigate his trauma around water. But I think it explores a larger question around water and why, in many cases, not always, but often, right, there are a lot of people from the Black community who don't swim or have a fear of water or are not as comfortable around water. And he's looking at some of the cultural reasons around that. I've more time is needed to actually dive into this because it's a little bit of a it's fascinating to me because I know a lot of people who, yeah, just culturally I feel have a fear around it. I mean, I think also the access in the cities that a lot of Black people may live in, the access to pools would not be yeah, there just wouldn't be as much access in many cases. So there's also equity issues around that. Whereas culturally, other people may grow up going to like a cottage where you swim in a lake and like where it's part of your history, or you grow up, you have a pool, your family has a pool. That's not something that I know I grew up with, but my friends had pools.
Right.
That's
They
how I learned, or through
swimming lessons.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took swimming lessons in my 30s. So like I wanted to get better at it because I recognized that like I'm okay in water, but not as comfortable as I want it to be. And so I think that this is a fascinating one because, yeah, I do think there's a deep relationship around historically around the movement and displacement of people via water and why water may not be everyone's bag in the Black community. But
Yeah.
also then there's the equity thing around access to culturally to swimming lessons and to pools, things like that in communities where they're not serviced or they're underserviced. So yeah, really interesting topic. So 12 minutes I'm looking forward to seeing at some point during the festival. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of films that we'd like to talk about. You've mentioned quite a few that I wanted to talk about. We can
Yeah.
go this rapid fire pretty much all night, but I also know that, at the end of the day, it is such a personal thing, the films that we gravitate towards. And I've got many, many more that I want to say.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So we're gonna wrap up, but here's what I'm suggesting, Drew. I think, and in fact, I not that I think I know you probably have quite a few movies that you haven't mentioned already that are on your list. I have a few that I've mentioned as well. Why don't we do this? Why don't we tease? Maybe let's throw out. I'm gonna have to go into deep details here, but let's throw out maybe three more each, and then we'll find a way. Maybe we can like for people for the hardcore fans, we'll find a way to put this list online, and you can maybe have a look at some of our other picks. But what are three that you want to leave as honorable mentions for the festival, Drew? And I'll do three, and we'll call it a night.
Yeah. So my three would be there's a film called Charlie Harper. It's seems like it's a coming of age drama and romance. Centers on a couple, Charlie and Harper, who move to a new city as they attempt to build a life together. Um, it sounds really interesting because the narrative weaves through the highs and lows of their young love, and ultimately posing the question, is love enough? And seems like a very interesting concept. It's exploring their relationship, and the narrative seems to go back and forth as well, which is interesting too. So that's on my list. I would also have to say uh, so the yeah, Swiped. Swiped sounds interesting as well. It's the story of Lily James plays Whitney Wolfe Herd, who created two of the most successful dating apps, Tinder and Bumble. And she left Tinder because she received sexual harassment by her coworkers or her colleagues who also worked on the app as well. And then she moved on to create Bumble. And the film explores Heard's battle against misogyny in tech and her mission to transform online dating as well. So that seems really interesting to me too. And yeah, I'd say those are. There's a film called Memory of Princess Moonbi, which is an African film too, which seems dystopian fable set in Africa in 2093. Interesting concept there for sure. You should check it out on TIFF.net. And yeah, those are my three other mentioned, I guess, notables as well. Yeah.
Great picks. I mean, I had Charlie Harper on mine as well
Oh
too, so
yeah.
I would have Oh, totally. I definitely want to see that. As soon as
Yeah.
I understood the concept of following these two lovers throughout time and like they're, will they, won't they? That's always a
Yeah.
premise that I can get behind, and I think it'll be
Sounds cool.
um really, really cool. Yeah, great pick. Okay, so then now let me do a little bit of moving furniture out of my head here. Okay, I'm just gonna blurt some things out because I have a long list and there's no way I can say all of them, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Yeah, honorable mention. It was just an accident. So from Iran, this one as well. Everybody, I think, is talking about it because it's basically it was the winner of the Palme d'Or this year at Cannes.
Wow.
Yep, yeah, getting massive buzz. Essentially, this one too. I think just because also too like it being from Iran, I think that'll be interesting to see a film with that perspective. But basically, it follows a group of citizens pondering revenge against a man they believe was their torturer from a recent prison stint. So the way that it's tagged is a small mishap triggers a chain reaction of ever-growing problems. But again, intense trailer. The trailer is it's intense, almost to the point where I took it out of my top 10 because I just felt like I don't know that I would be necessarily drawn to this. It looks intense, but also I think it's going to be one of those ones that heart pounding, difficult probably, but the challenge of that is that it's probably an important one to see. So yeah, it was just an accident. Iranian film, Palme d'Or winner at Cannes. I gotta put that on there, and then I'm also gonna put on. Um, I'm toying with it right now because I also had swiped on my list too, so good call there. And Sons. So this one is one starring Bill Nighy and Dominic West. It's a writer trying to reconnect with his sons. Uh, Simple premise, but again, Dominic West, from The Crown, from The Wire, legend status, such a good actor, and Bill Nighy as well too from Love Actually, and he was also he's been in so many things. Was nominated for an Oscar, I
Yeah.
think last year, if I'm not mistaken, for the film that he did, which was a great film that is escaping my mind right now. But he basically carried it. And I like those two together. I think those two together with the right material and a family drama where, again, a lot of daddy issues being unpacked at the festival this year. But I think this one's going to be one to see. And then for good measure, let's go put an Apple one in there, The Lost Bus. This one, Matt McConaughey, America Ferrera.
Wow. Yeah.
Gotta add it. Gotta add it. I gotta see this one as well too. I think I pretty much know what to expect from this one. It's probably going to be good. Um, it's basically what went wrong in California's campfire, the deadliest fire in the nation, in the history, anyways. And I think it will be one where speed meets Deadly Fire meets Matt McConaughey. So it's gonna be pretty good. And
Yeah, the trailer looked really good too. Looked pretty,
oof,
yeah.
yeah, good trailer. And again, if I have to put a list together of the people that I want to see, most anticipated red carpets, most anticipated celebs, yeah, Keanu Reeves I mentioned earlier. My other one is Matt McConaughey. Okay. So fun fact here:
Yeah.
at the beginning of this podcast, a prophecy was made that
Yes.
we get an interview with Matt McConaughey. Now, of course, I didn't know at this time when I was
Yeah.
saying this that
We're speaking
obviously
to
he'd be at.
existence. Yeah.
Let's manifest this. Let's
Yeah.
manifest this. Even if he says even if he says all right, all right on camera as he passes us by, that counts. So
And
I don't know.
yeah,
This
that
could be
and I get my interview with The Rock. All right. He's one of my top to talk to. Motivational,
okay.
inspiring stories. Yeah.
He is, yeah. He's such an inspiration. I could see you getting that interview as well too. I
Yeah.
feel like he's somebody that might actually have time.
I'd love
Um,
to have a conversation with The Rock.
in
Yeah.
Yeah, another one that's going to be a coveted get on that red carpet.
He's in
But
conversation on TIFF too as well. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
So
right.
yeah.
And somebody who I could also see walking around as well.
Mm.
Not really inconspicuously, but I feel like he's somebody that would just be walking around and would stop and take photos and selfies with fans. He's supposed to be such a great guy. So I wouldn't be surprised, Drew, if you end up, one day running into him somewhere in the West End or maybe grabbing the coffee or something, that he goes and steps out and just does normal things, right, in the city. So this is what's so exciting about being in the city during TIFF as well, too, is you never know when that doppelganger is actually that person, right?
Yeah. And Keanu Reeves is on that list too, as far as imagine me meeting Keanu Reeves. Ooh, no.
Totally,
I would
totally.
have a conversation. That would be a dream come true for sure.
A
Yeah.
hundred, a hundred. That would be my dream scenario for the flight. Who I'd want to sit next to on that flight would
Yeah.
be Keanu Reeves, and I think he's somebody that literally I could be sitting like in a cafe, and some very disheveled looking person next to me it could be him. That's the
Yeah.
cool thing about Keanu
Just
Reeves is
low
it literally
key.
could be him.
Yeah.
He's super low key, and apparently just an absolute legend, a very, very nice guy. In fact, all three of the people that we mentioned wanting to meet, I think McConaughey too is also super positive, uplifting person. Um, I think that's what makes for someone who's timeless, as well, and who people get excited about on the red carpet is when they're going to give great interviews and they're happy to be there to promote their work. So, and humbled still to be there. I think,
Mhm.
yeah, that's something they all have in common. Okay, wow. Well, we put another one to bed. This one, uh, I'm super excited about because I'm sure the list is only going to continue to grow for both of us as we hear about more and more movies. But Drew, since you are a vet of the fest, just as we wind down now, what are your just you mentioned about the planning that's required for the festival, but do you have any other general tips you want to give people who might be feeling overwhelmed with all the choices that we've given them today? How do you decide what to see? What are your tried and true tips from your time working with TIFF?
I would say just yeah, planning your schedule. Um, there's so many films. There's going to be multiple screenings of films too, at different times in the day as well, and at different venues too. So, what's important to me is too where the venue is also. Like, for example, the Princess of Wales Theater is one of my favorite venues. It's just a magical experience being in that theater watching a film, and also because there's so many films, like don't just stick with like the big films. Be open to potentially discovering a film that could just blow you away. I've had that experience too, knowing nothing about the film, and just watching it in an amazing venue in the city. And so I think it's just about, checking out the films and the schedule, but also being open to seeing a film which you wouldn't normally see at a cool venue in the city. Yeah.
Great tip. Yeah, be curious, right? as we always say, stay curious. So I think this is a great example of it. Yeah, you can see some really great films that are not necessarily on everyone's radar, and that might even be the way to go, right? So yeah, thanks for that reminder. Okay, well, oh, you look like you have some.
Yes, and
Yeah,
also there is films that come available the day of too. So if it is sold out, you can also line up to see a film and you can rush it. It's called. So I recommend that too. And if you have some time to kill. Sometimes there's some long lines, but if it's a lesser known film and you decide to join the rush line, there's a large chance that you could get in as well. Because in the years past, I've lined up in the rush line and gone into films I wouldn't even expect to get into as well. Yeah, yeah.
that's a great tip. Yeah, I was gonna say the rush line is something that I'm always curious about. Like, do people actually get into films when they line up in the rush? And so, good to know. Hey, if there's a rush line and you happen to be walking by, you can get in. Why not, right? So, I'm excited to see some of these films. I can't wait to see um, people hanging out, waiting to catch a glimpse of their favorite celebrities. I think it's an exciting thing to bring back to the city, bring life back to King Street West as well.
Yeah, yeah. I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, uh, thanks for your picks, Andrew. I'm looking forward to expanding my own horizons around some of the ones that I had in my top 10. And I can't wait once the festival's over and then we can compare notes and see what were some of our surprises, what were some of the ones that we thought we would like and did like,
We're doing
what hit.
close track. Yeah, exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So the retrospect, I think that's going to be a little bit of a cool debrief coming up. But yeah, okay. So let's wrap this thing up and give people the time to go and get those schedules planned. I know there's a lot happening in the first few days of the festival too, so I got to get my head around how I'm gonna do all this. But if you're still with us, we hope that you enjoyed today's show. Hopefully, some of these tips have given you some ideas around what you can see, and maybe some things off the beaten track as well too. Maybe some CanCon you want to go out and support for our listeners who are listening. Locally as well too. Get out there and see some of the Toronto artists and some of the also Indigenous films that are out this year too at the festival. There's a lot of them, so we don't have time to mention all of them, but please feel free to go and do your investigation. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
Before you go, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on Instagram at culture_alchemy. We want to keep the conversation going.
All right. Until next time, alchemists, stay curious.